Okay, guys, we're going to talk about setting up the total station on an assumed coordinate system in Survey Pro. So this is handy when you are using the total station in the field. You don't have a GPS, so you don't have any known points. So what we're going to do here, let's open a new file, a new job. So job name, we'll just call this test. All right, look at my settings. Yes. US survey feet, North Azimuth, that's all good. Next. No, I don't want to do that. All right, that'll work. Okay. So, first you're going to go to main menu. You're going to hit the little blue box in the upper left-hand corner. Go to jobs and then points. All right, we're going to hit the plus symbol. Once we get into points, we're going to hit the plus symbol to add our first point. So we're just going to create this. We can call it start or trav1 or whatever we want to use as our first point. I prefer to use trav1. And then we go to location. And we're going to use a grid location of 5,000. 5,000. Now, some people like to use 5,000, 10,000 so they can differentiate between northing and easting. And we're also going to use a elevation of 100. But for this purpose, we're just going to use 5,000, 5,000. Now, we're going to talk about a survey that we did that was a vacant lot survey. Here are the field notes for it. We're going to kind of run through this scenario as the field crew did. So, let's begin. Alright, we're done with creating our first point. Now we're going to go back to main menu. We're going to go to survey and station setup. So the setup type is going to be a known point because we just created that point. Alright, so we're occupying point 1, doing a 2D survey, so the HI is not important here. So hit next. Give it a location for scale. That'll work. What are we backsighting? We are setting the orientation of this job. So we don't have an actual point to backsight. We're going to backsight in azimuth. So this is just an assumed north, basically. So we're gonna, in this particular scenario, the crew said set up at 1, or set gun at 1, backsight at 2. And 2 is the PI, so the point of intersection. So 1 was the found nail and disc at the lot line extended. 2 was the found nail and disc at the point of intersection. Alright, so we set up our gun at our lot line. We backsighted the intersection. We're calling that 0. We hit set. Finish. Now we need to shoot our backsight. So we go to traverse side shoot. Say backsight, or we can say found nail and disc, and then we can call it backsight. Alright. And the angle is 0. The distance is 500 feet. As our description. Boom. So now we have saved point number 2. So now we have the ability to use that point again as our back sight later on in the job because we shot it. Okay, so now point 3, they said point 3 was the other lot line extended. Now, we're not turning real angles here. This is just a simulator showing you what buttons to press, basically. So we go ahead and sight that point. The angle was 0. The distance was 80 feet. And we hit sight shoot. Alright, now they said found number 4, found iron rod. Okay. Their angle was 90 degrees. And they went 30 feet. Okay. All right. Now the next shot was shot number 5, the back property corner. And side shoot. They said 90 degrees. And they went 155 feet. Then finally, from this setup, the last shot was the other point of intersection. So, side shoot. Angle was 180 degrees. And they went 350 feet. Okay, so we've collected everything from our first setup. Now I want to go over what you would do on your second setup. Okay, so we're done collecting from setup 1. So we go back into station setup. We move the total station from point 1 right here. We're going to move up to point 3 right here. So once we get set up, we can still see our back sight from point 3, and that's why we shot our back sight and collected it, so that we have that point to refer back to. But that's not all you need to do when you move and change your setup. How do we prove our orientation? Okay, so occupy point 3, we said, right? And then back sight, we're going to switch that to back sight point. We are back sighting point 2. And we hit measure and set. So we got a good back sight check, but that doesn't prove anything yet, because we could have messed up our station setup. So we hit finish, and then go to traverse side shoot. Shot number 7. We're going to reshoot point 4. So we're going to say point 4 is our description. And the angle was 0.4. Okay, so shot number 7 was a reshoot of shot number 4. So we just reshot something from our first setup. Now let's inverse from 7 to 4. Solve. 2 points are too close. So that means we are perfect. We have a good backside and a good third point check. Okay. Now, we know we don't have a blown traverse. We know we're not going to have to come back to this job because of something silly like that. Okay, so we continue on with our collection until the job is complete and we're done. So I hope this was helpful on how to set up a assumed coordinate system and how to do a third point check when traversing. If you have any questions, let me know.